Did you cover Texas putting a vigilante bounty on women who get abortions? I mean, this sounds like an insane story. This sounds like something that they may have misconstrued. You know what I mean? It seems
Thank
like
you for being a good content creator.
like I don't think you can do that. All over the country, restrictive abortion bans have become the new are being introduced. And Texas bill goes one step further by incentivizing individuals to enforce the law with a $10,000 or more award for anyone who successfully sues someone providing. Oh yeah. This is so psychotic. Never mind. This is real. When you say bounty, my mind instantly goes to like Dog the Bounty Hunter. Like because yes, I remember this. This is real. Sorry. When you said bounty, I thought you meant like not like a hackathon bounty. You know what I mean? But instead like Dog the Bounty Hunter. Like right here, brother. This bitch got a fucking abortion. It's like psh, breaking through the door of a fucking 14-year-old a girl who like secretly had to go get an abortion. It's like, you're under arrest, bitch. You're coming with me. Like that's what I thought. It's not like that. Yeah, it's a legal strategy to get around the normal appeals process. The state has put a bounty on the head of any person or entity who so much as gives a patient money for an abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy before most people know they are pregnant. Nancy Northrup, president and CEO of the Center for Reproductive Rights, said in a statement to Elle, worst, it will intimidate loved ones from providing support for fear of being sued. Here is the heartbeat bill that this fucking psycho put forward. This is real, yes. Banning abortions the moment an unborn child's heartbeat begins.
You and chat help
for joining with us here today.
Novel coronavirus.
Our Creator endowed us with the right to life, and yet.
Okay, there's a one-ear situation here. I'm gonna hit the mono on the audio. How do we do that again? I'm going to force it to be mono again.
9 months. A baby has been
desktop
born.
audio. Boom. Mono.
Comrade.
Let's see if it works.
Millions of children lose their right to life every year because of abortion. In Texas, we work to save those lives. And that's exactly what the Texas legislature did this session. They worked together on a bipartisan basis to pass a bill that I'm about to sign that ensures that the life of every unborn child who has a heartbeat will be saved from the ravages of abortion. I want to thank the
Texas is so hot, dude. Also, Texas, you wouldn't know. Looking at these fools over here, you would not know that Texas is a remarkably diverse state. Okay. Like you would think that Texas is Iowa looking at this background here, okay? Except their population, their demographics numbers are not like Iowa. It's like 70% white, including a lot of like white Hispanics in that number as well. They're not. Hold on. Let me give you what the. Since 1970, Texas has gotten significantly less white. In 1970, Texas was 86.8% white. Now it's 70.4% white. That includes white Hispanics too. Non-Hispanic whites are only 41% of the population. Non-Hispanic whites in Texas are only 41% of the population. Okay. The black population has lowered. The Asian population has increased a lot. The native population has increased. And other has increased. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. I don't know what other is going to be here. But anyway, yeah. So a lot of Hispanic whites live in Texas. But you wouldn't really get that. You You wouldn't really get that looking at this demographic makeup right here. You would be like, oh, Texas, you know, kind of like Iowa. And by the way, that's not Iowa slander. This is one instance where, like, I'm actually being very serious. Iowa is the whitest fucking state. You know what I mean?
The entire legislature, both Republicans and Democrats, for stepping up to stand for life. And I want to thank the lead authors of this.
I love when they put the women in the front, too, because it's like, come on, ladies. This is about your pussies. Come on, get up front there, sugar. Show us what you got, hot stuff. Come on. It's like the same energy as having you know, the all four like black representatives front and center on like a crime bill, you know what I mean? It's like, I know why you did that. We all know why you did that. Okay? Look at the entire fucking room, dog. Tumblr was right. Yeah, exactly. I'm a misogynist for making fun of what Republicans very deliberately do, which is use like the handful of white women to severely restrict women's autonomy over their own bodies. This is what misogyny is. Over under how many of them have daughters that were forced to have an abortion having sex with a non-white? I mean, who knows? Oh my fucking God. Fox News workers. Fox News workers have their own corporate vaccine passport. It's called the Fox Clear Pass. Shut up. Oh, God. Of course they do, dude. Of course they fucking do, dude. God, Texas is so fucking whack. I'm sorry. For all the people that live in Texas, like, I'm sorry that that's happening to you, okay? I hope you can figure it out. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, the more Austin grows, the more Texas is going to turn blue anyway. But it's going to be fucking annoying. Like, when Texas turns blue, it's not going to be like a cool blue. It's not going to be like Vermont. You know what I mean? It's not going to be crusty. It's going to be the fucking shitty California style blue or New York style blue, which is like supposed to be very liberal. But instead, it's just like the same kind of annoying, hyper capitalist corporate overlords that just say, like, hey, I think we should enslave trans people as well as straight people. Like, I don't know why, you know, I don't know why we don't just like enslave the gays and the trans alongside the cisheads. Like, the fuck? I totally don't mind having an incredibly diverse serfdom. So, you know, like every big city in America is very liberal when it comes to, you know, social issues, but whenever it comes down to, like, I don't know, Uber drivers trying to get more money or try to organize to get recognized as like full-blown contractors or rather employees down the line, it's like, no, you're a slave. Know your fucking place, you dirty little peasant. Come on, sweaty. That's not very girl boss of you. You hear yourself talk, says God's elect. What does that mean, I wonder? I wonder what this person is upset about. Hide? Normal question, everything. This should happen to all LGBTQ people. Dumbass, you need 2 people for that. Never heard about that. Witch hunt, interesting. Who would have thought? Clap, clap, clap. Short woman always stand in the front. Yeah, dude. Yeah. They put the women in the front, not because it's a fucking abortion bill, but because they're short. They always put the women in the front. Dude, if you don't know, like, literally optics 101, dog, like, these dumbass hogs can comprehend it, but you can't for some reason. Like, these people are barely sentient, okay? Like, this guy literally just looks like, oh my God, he looks like a riverboat gambler, dude. Look at him.
Brian Hughes, Representative Slauson, thank you so much.
I came all the way out here from Louisiana on my riverboat. I was gambling. Listen, I quaff my hair for this. On this day, I say, we are going to execute ladies that want to get an abortion. Look at this fucking guy, dude. Them O'Driscoll boys, dude. They're out there, okay? That's a goddamn O'Driscoll.
And also want to thank all of the
like, if you're this excited to fucking ban abortion, you're such a scumbag, dude. What the fuck?
Life groups who join with us here today, but also who worked tirelessly during the course of the session to make sure this bill got passed, and for everything they do to cultivate a culture of life in Texas. I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker also for their leadership in this effort. Now, we're about to make it law.
Wow. What an exciting picture here. It wasn't enough to severely restrict and limit the amount of like reproductive health service places in Texas in the entire state for girls, women, whoever the fuck wants to get an abortion. Which, of course, every single time we have this conversation, I gotta like remember and repeat it to you guys. 90% of abortions happen in the first trimester, and it's a very easy procedure, okay? You go to a doctor, you consult a doctor at a fucking Planned Parenthood, they give you a pill, and it's literally just a heavy flow period, okay? You take a pill, and then you just pee it out, okay? Heavy flow period. That's what a miscarriage in the first trimester looks like, okay? So for all the people who are like, oh my God, you're murdering the life. No. Well, it hurts a shit ton more than that. LMAO. Okay, shut up. It's not P, OMG low. I'm joking, dude. Yes, it's not P. Just stop. Let me fucking trivialize this. Without you, like, butting in every 3 seconds to be like, no, actually, it's super severe. You're fucking wrong. I've had an abortion. You're wrong. The Republicans are right, by the way. Like, yeah, it's not literally P, dude. Okay? It's not actually P. Okay, guys? I'm sorry. No jokes! No jokes allowed! Fucking Tumblr Andes, dude. Shut the fuck up! Aside from the religious angle, do you think Republicans do this so they can have a higher population rates of poor white communities, thus more votes in the future? The abortion restrictions are exclusively just like religious bullshit. exclusively religious bullshit. It's about forcing women, or it's about punishing women for having sex, okay? Because women should never have sex. Unless it's, you know, to have a child. It's puritanical as fuck. It's also about, you know, it's also about enforcing like religious rules on an entire population in an effort to appease the evangelical base. To make it seem like they're actually doing something. These are easy things that they can do, despite the fact that, you know, the overwhelming majority of the American population is in support of safe, free, accessible abortions, especially in the first trimester. And not necessarily banning it after the first trimester. Some women say they aren't concerned about overturning of Roe because Republicans don't want to lose that carrot and stick for their base. Do you think this is valid or naive? It's not some women. I've said that. I've literally said that. Because it doesn't matter. Overturning Roe v. Wade doesn't matter. You want to know why? You can say I'm a misogynist all day. Because it's already fucking overturned in every goddamn state, dude. Like, in most red states, They already have made it so that it's like virtually fucking impossible to get an abortion. And in ways that you don't even recognize, that the media doesn't even cover. Like in Oklahoma, there's a network of private hospitals that are Christian. If you ever get a fucking abortion and that's on your record, they will literally no longer help you. So you're just locked out of an entire network of Christian hospitals in the entire fucking state. Fun fact, nearly the entire state is a network of Christian hospitals. So what are you going to do? So there are no good reasons for restricting abortions in this way, because we all know, and it's been proven time and time again, that because the woman has full control over her own body, like a lack of access to reproductive health services that offer abortion only means more back alley abortions. That's why abortion activists, that's why, pro-choice activists will oftentimes show the coat hanger. You know what I mean? In their minds, people are murdering babies. No logic will change their minds. I mean, you can make the libertarian argument, dude. You can make the libertarian argument to be like, look, if someone is invading your fucking house, you have the right to terminate them. You know what I mean? This is more severe than your house. This is like literally your own body. You should have autonomy over your own body. And the worst part about this is, so what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to punish people who are engaging in back alley abortions? How are we going to know if someone is just simply had a miscarriage? And this already happens in this country. Pro-life freaks are so insane. The Secretary General of the organization that killed Dr. George Tiller in the 96 Olympics bombing still runs a Christian bookstore in Iowa. Hell yeah. Oh no, an unexpected responsibility. Time to kill it. Okay, my friend, you are 14 years old. You've never even gotten pussy. And you're in my fucking chat talking about like having a child grow inside of you as though it's like an unexpected responsibility. Like, it's not just an unexpected responsibility. Do you understand? Like, it's significantly more than that. It's not like, oh my God, oops, I didn't realize I had homework due tomorrow, you dumb fuck. Take care of the problem, kill the fetus baby. Well, no one believes that the fetus is actually a fucking baby, dude. And here's why, okay? If you had 1,000 fucking fertilized eggs on the one side in a burning hospital, and one fucking actually full-blown baby that's out of the pussy on the other side, you would never literally be like, oh my God, I gotta save all of those eggs that are being fertilized at the moment. That's 100 lives, dude. You would save the fucking baby. Because that's a fucking baby, and the other is a different thing. There's a cluster of cells. You know what I mean? No one is going, oh my God, but that's 100 fucking lives, dude. We gotta save 100 lives there. Like, no, you don't believe that. Just like honest vegans will admit that there is a difference between a human being and an animal. And when push comes to shove, like some vegans won't, but most honest vegans will admit that they have some speciesist points of view, especially when presented with if you're in a plane crash, and you have the option to like eat an animal, okay, versus another human, you're probably going to preserve the human's life to eat the animal first. Okay? That doesn't mean that you should be eating animals all the time in the comfort in a normal circumstance, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. But that is the honest vegan argument. I feel like the woman should get an abortion, but it's not that hard to take birth control or use a condom. Dude, again, you are literally not, like, it's so obvious that you are not a woman. Whenever people say it's not that hard to fucking take birth control or use a condom, it's like, you're clearly not a lady, okay? Or worse than that, you haven't even talked to a woman ever in your fucking life about this. Because, like, birth control is fucking horrible. There are a lot of people who can't take birth control, okay? It fucks their body up. It's not as simple as like, oh, I'm just taking a pill and, oh, no longer am I having a period. No more babies. Like, you're just, it's a situation that you fully cannot comprehend. It's expensive. It fucks your hormones up. You start getting acne. Your emotions are out of fucking whack. Like, there are legitimate medical reasons as to why people can't take birth control to begin with. Even when you wear a condom, there's still, there's still a likelihood that you could still get pregnant. Like, it's not, none of this is 100%. Men refuse to take the pill because they saw the same effects it does to a woman. The DNA of an egg isn't a human DNA. The human DNA is a combination of the egg and sperm. That's why a human is created at the point of inception. The unique human DNA is assigned at that point. Yeah, I understand science. That's why I said, like, if there were eggs in vitro fertilization, if they were fertilized eggs in one on the one side. And even when you have that hormone, those hormones pumped in your body, you could still absolutely have, you can absolutely still have a pregnancy. You can still be pregnant. The real problem is that the law as applied will only restrict poor people's access, rich people travel. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Anyway. I saw a commercial a few days ago, and the laundry list of severe side effects at the end made it sound like a literal parody. It's kind of absurd. Yeah. The worst part about this is that in this room, statistically speaking, in this room, there's people that have gotten abortions. Obviously, it's overwhelmingly men in that room. So I don't mean like the men literally got abortions, but there is no shot that there aren't homies in here that had their daughter get an abortion, maybe even by force, or have their spouses get an abortion, have their mistresses get an abortion. That's why these fucking pieces of shit always get caught. It's like always a self-report, dude. Whenever a Republican is like really agitated about something, it's just a self-report, okay? It's just a self-report. That's why whenever you see people who are like, remember that Oklahoma state Republican? Whatever that guy's name was, who literally wrote a law that ended up increasing his charges, which was like, sex trafficking within 100 feet, or like hiring a prostitute within 100 feet of a church. Like, he himself wrote that fucking law. He was anti-LGBT, and then he got caught fucking a 17-year-old male prostitute. Like, yeah, Tim Murphy, anti-abortion rep Tim Murphy resigns after
and his sex scandal. Tim Murphy of Pennsylvania, a husband and father, giving us 2 weeks' notice today. Here's ABC's David Wright.
Tonight, this Pennsylvania Republican caught in a sex scandal, Congressman Tim Murphy, effectively gave 2 weeks' notice. He's out of Congress effective October 21st.
I think it's appropriate that he moves on to the next chapter of his life.
Yeah. There you go, dude. There you go. Yeah, what ended up getting another abortion was Tim Murphy's fucking congressional career. Anyway, speaking of aborted fetuses that survived, unfortunately, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz were trolled by friend of the show. This guy, what is his name? Walker Bragman or something? Yeah, he
oh my god, I'm so excited! I'm so excited!
Go.
I mean, everyone thinks you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy. People think you're a pedophile. I don't think you're a pedophile at all. I don't think he's a pedophile at all. The charges against him are totally false.
Look at his face when he does it. We're gonna play this a lot today. Also, I can't believe Jake Paul decided to end his YouTube career and become this guy's security guard.
Oh my god! Thank you. Oh my god, I'm so excited! I'm so excited! I mean, everyone thinks you're crazy.
Watch this fucking demon's face, dude. Watch the demon face just turn when he realizes, like, oh my god, Oh, this is a fucking... He did it. He did such a good job because, like, there are cranks. Like, the MTG fans and the Matt Gaetz fans are cranks. So, like, he was able to walk in by being as loud as possible, hide in plain sight, basically, because, like, they're so used to all the fucking cranks that are like, America, yeah, hell yeah, baby.
Crazy. I don't think you're crazy. People think you're a pedophile. I don't think you're a pedophile at all. I don't think he's a pedophile at all. The charges against him are totally false.
I love that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not even aware. Like, she's just like, yeah, I think this is a God-fearing, patriotic American man who doesn't think Matt Gaetz is a pedophile. I agree. I agree with you, God-fearing man. I also don't think Matt Gaetz is a pedophile, or even if he was, I don't care. Maybe those 20 or maybe those 16-year-olds were wearing something salacious, wearing something sexy. Who knows? Okay.
No, the charges against him are totally false. They're totally false. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I mean, everyone thinks you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy. People think you're a pedophile. I don't think you're a pedophile at all. I don't think he's a pedophile at all. The charges against him are totally false. They're totally false. Oh my God.
I love this video, dude. Anyway. Crazy. How crazy to not have a problem associating with a pedo like Matt Gaetz while he's being investigated? Yeah. Oh, Ro Khanna got ratioed or something? Bill Kristol is one of the most thoughtful voices in defending liberalism and democratic institutions in our country. Learned a lot in our conversation about shaping also an inclusive narrative around American patriotism. I was a strong and early critic of the war in Iraq. And Kristol and I have very different worldviews on foreign policy, but to have a discussion about strengthening liberalism and liberal institutions with people you disagree is, in my view, needed in a pluralistic democracy. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Ro Khanna always does shit like this. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, Bill Kristol is like not just like a regular... Not sure why everyone's upset about this. Gonna go Google Bill Kristol. Ro Khanna does shit like this all the time, dude. He does. I'm sorry. You must be new here if you are surprised by this, okay? This is literally a textbook Ro Khanna move to just like... I mean, he's more progressive than the average Democrat, certainly, but he does stuff like this all the time as well. So, anyway, did you see this DC clip about the shooting? Yeah, that's the only clip I'm going to show you from that fucking shooting because it's insane. But before we do that, let's talk about what my main man, Mehdi Hasan, has to say about Cuba.
Teaching of American history, and especially black history here at home, has been bad, incomplete, whitewashed. But our knowledge and understanding of America's history on the international stage, and especially with our neighbors to the south, is even worse. Take Haiti, now in crisis again after the president was assassinated in his home earlier this month. The Washington Post editorial board reacted by calling for a swift and muscular international intervention in Haiti, led, of course, by the United States military. No mention of the fact that Haiti's first elected president, the leftist priest Jean-Bertrand Aristide, was toppled in a coup orchestrated by Haitian officers, some of who were on the CIA's payroll, or that Aristide was...
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, we should do that again. That was really good. That's what I think. When I think of American foreign policy in our backyard, I think of all the resounding examples of success.
Overthrown again in a second 2004 coup, whose instigators were supported by elements of the George W. Bush administration. Or that Haiti was militarily invaded and occupied by the United States between 1915 and 1934. Take Cuba. In an appearance on Fox News to discuss the growing protests there, Republican Mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, said U.S. airstrikes...
This dude is literally the biggest fucking psychopath, dude. Like an absolute psychopath. Like, just said the embargo is not a big deal. As a matter of fact, it's very poggers. Okay? Then followed up by saying, yeah, he is hot. Shut up. And then followed up by saying, we should explore airstrikes as a fucking option.
strikes against Cuba are an option that has to be explored and cannot be just simply discarded. Sorry, what? It's almost as if the CIA didn't try to assassinate Fidel Castro more than 600 times, as if the Bay of Pigs never happened, as if the United States hasn't spent the past 6 decades imposing a crippling embargo on an island of 11 million people, a policy that the rest of the world is totally against. Last month, 184 countries at the United Nations General...
Like, the funniest part about that take, when you move beyond how psychotic it is, okay? When you move beyond how psychotic that take is, like, his fucking constituents in Miami don't even want it, except for, like, the most reactionary psychopathic Cubans who should literally be ignored. Like, do not make that a noteworthy thing, okay? They're psychos. Just because they're fucking brown, or in most cases, they're not even fucking brown, they're white, doesn't mean that, like, you have to listen to them, liberals, okay? I'm sick and fucking tired of, like, liberals who are like, oh my God, but they're Cuban. They're Cuban and we're talking about Cuba. We have to listen to them. It's like, no, dude, that person is a fucking freak, okay? That's a hog, brother. Just because that fucking hog happens to be Cubano doesn't change the reality that that's a fucking hog, okay? Sorry, sweaty. It's literally like looking at the Contras and being like, well, I guess we have to arm the Contras. I mean, sorry, that was a real fucking girl boss move by Oliver North. You know what I'm saying? Like, arming and training the Contras is a real girl boss move because we were giving guns to brown folk so that they could liberate themselves, you know, from the oppressive socialist state. Because you fled Cuba and know their experience. I don't give a fuck. Suck my fucking cock. Okay? Hey, if you're Cuban, 12-month subscriber, and your fucking dumbass grandfather is like, oh my God, we need to fucking push the embargo, actually, who also believes in QAnon conspiracies and, like, voted for Donald Trump and loves Donald Trump and thinks he's still fucking president. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what he has to say. It doesn't matter that they're fucking functionally brown because they're white Hispanic. Okay? I don't care. Like, you don't know their lived experience. Suck my fucking cock with your lived experience, dude. Oh, shit, man. Oh, no. What are we going to do, dude? I really need the lived... I need to hear the lived experience of, like, psychotic QAnon supporting anti-vaxxers who think the embargo should not fucking be lifted to apply further pressure to the Cuban state, dude. Man, how about you experience some bitches, chatter? Okay, suck my cock. I mean, seriously, like, why do we do this? It's so fucking annoying. It's so incredibly annoying to act like in any other circumstance, we would literally look at these people and go, that's a psycho. That's literally a psychopath. Why would I listen to that person? Why would I tailor my fucking foreign policy around the lived experience of a psychotic reactionary? But because they're, like, you know, white Cuban, white Hispanic, whatever, they're like, well, they're still technically Cuban and we need to center around their lived experiences. Like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm debating Miami friends telling me you're not Cuban, listen to Cubans, LMAO. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. It's insane. Like, it's literally insane. We never do that. Generalizing all Cubans who disagree with you. Any Cuban, and I say this with my entire chest, any Cuban who does not want to lift the embargo is a psychopath. Okay? You're basically saying, I don't give a fuck if my grandparents or whoever the fuck is living in Cuba still. Like, I don't give a fuck about them. I don't want to send them medicine. I don't want to send them money. I don't give a fuck if they live or die. Okay? Straight up. Like, literally, you're a complete and utter psychopath. It is the same energy as Candace Owens knows more about black issues. She's a black woman, sweaty. Listen to Candace Owens. Like, I don't care. Fuck Candace Owens. Who cares? A lot of time they're too close to the subject to think about it rationally. One's lived experience doesn't always represent the situation as a whole, and it can be very biased. Yeah, I mean, it's dumb as fuck. Also, the U.S. State Department doesn't give a fuck about the Cuban experience, dude. They're not centering the lived experience of Cubans living in America in exile or some shit. Like, they're doing this because they want to turn Cuba back into a fucking sugar plantation with casinos. That's it. Which is what it was. And that's precisely why our foreign policy in Cuba was literally arming and fucking training the Batista regime till the very last moment. Okay? God damn, dude. God fucking damn it. Oh, I'm sorry, Sweaty. You need to center your point of view around Reconstruction. Okay, you need to center your, Reconstruction era point of view, not around like black people's lived experience, but actually on the lived experience of the slavers, dude. Why don't you think about their property damage and loss of property? No, I'm not going to do that. Suck my cock. How about that? Okay, suck my fucking Turkish cock, dumbasses. I'm sorry. Some of you need to hear this because, like, you literally think that this is, this is a big own. Like, my lived experience. My parents' lived experience. Like, you think you're going to get in here and be like, I live in Florida. And my realtor QAnon mother's lived experience should be centered on American foreign policy that starves Cubans. I don't give a shit. Fuck your parents, dude. Get the fuck out of here. The anti-embargo rebuttal they use is that they're already getting medicine and profits from Russia and China when there's very marginal statistics on top of their authoritarian regime taking it all. What do you mean their authoritarian regime taking it all? What do you think? They're just like taking all the syringes and like sticking it in their asses, dude? It's the government. Yes. They're taking it so they can distribute it. Cringe take. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Motherfucker's a 4-cent fan, but he's like upset that I'm making fun of Cubans who are being like, who are trying to take advantage of that like liberal point of view that's like, the lived experience. Okay, dude. Yeah, go back to making fucking Zolol memes. Sweaty boy. Sorry, Hasan, you haven't played the new Far Cry yet. You don't get to have an opinion. Yeah, true.
Assembly voted to end the U.S. embargo on Cuba. Only 2 countries voted to keep it: the United States and Israel. Look, our record across the rest of the globe isn't much better. We're still bombing Iraq and Syria. We're still over a month away from withdrawing from our longest war ever in Afghanistan. And post-war Libya remains a mess. And yet there are people seriously suggesting we launch airstrikes in Cuba. Have they lost their minds? Or just their memories? And if it's their memories, well, to quote George Santayana, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Anyway. It's just making those worse for the few family members left on the aisle, and the Cuban people in Miami mayor is a gigantic moron. Yes, part of my family were pre-Cubans and have the rare take that both regimes are bad for different reasons. Both were dictatorships. Cuba rarely ever had a democracy. I also agree we should end the embargo. Look, end the embargo, okay? Stop trying to fucking, fund democratizing initiatives. Like, we know America doesn't give a fuck about democracy. We're not the world police. We are not the moral arbiters in the world. Far from it. We're kind of the fucking worst at
hey Ryan, what's on your
our foreign policy record is kind of the worst. If you treat Cuba with respect and allow them to have sovereignty and autonomy, and they still end up going forward with like incredibly restrictive freedom of speech restrictions and all this stuff, then yeah. And that's right. You are correct in your assertion that like Cuba is still operating like a dictatorship. But the argument I always make about this is like, if your government leader was if your government leader was like routinely under the threat of assassination, okay, over and over again by a gigantic superpower like China, let's say, even though it's not even comprehensible because like China is nowhere near as powerful as America is to Cuba, right? They were constantly trying to fucking murder leaders, constantly and stopped every other country in the world from like doing trade with you openly. Then America would 100% fucking restrict freedom of speech. I mean, we had the Patriot Act after 9/11. This notion, and I don't know about that one chief, is an ahistorical take. You think America had like during World War II? You think America had like fucking free speech? No. Like we have a Sedition Act, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? We have the Patriot Act to mass surveil every single person. We have the Sedition Act that we use against people that are like agitating against war. Even during Cold War, we had McCarthyism, McCarthy trials. Like we were fucking, you know, straight up yeeting people who were commies or perceived to be commies. So this idea that you know, America would never have like restrict people's liberties. Yeah, ask the fucking Japanese Americans how they felt, dude. America would never abuse, you know, America would never operate like a fucking dictatorship. Yeah, I think the Japanese living in America during World War II have a unique perspective on that, I think. And with respect to the rest of the fucking countries that have been cooed, and I'm sorry to the other Latin American boys, girls, and MBs in here right now, but like if you look at comparable South American countries, like Cuba is so much better. Like they're doing so much better with what they have, with the shitty hand that they've been dealt. They've done a fucking insane job, and anyone who refuses to acknowledge that is delusional. I'm sorry. Like anyone who refuses to recognize how profoundly successful Cuba has been over the course of the 70-year fucking embargo under the Castro dictatorship, the Castro regime, whatever you want to fucking call it, okay? Under the Castro government. Despite all of these circumstances, despite having the world's largest global imperial power in their backyard consistently trying to fuck them up. Cuba's fucking doing great. What the fuck? Oops. My family's trying to FaceTime me in the middle of this.
Radar this morning.
So we talk a lot on this program about trust, about how trust and
I just like this is I don't like the format, dude. I'll see if there's a different video that's like shorter. Anyway, let's get to Ben Shabibo. Okay, Ben Shabibo is big mad for two reasons. Let's talk about it. Ben and Jerry's decided that they are no longer going to sell their products in occupied Palestine. Okay? Their delicious ice cream. Their goody ice creams. I wonder what I wonder if these Ben and Jerry, big anti-Semites probably, right? Wonder what their background is. Ben's background or Jerry's background. They're probably just like, you know, just being anti-Semitic, I assume. Right? Anyway. They're Jewish. That's why I'm making this joke. Anyway, I think the owners of Ben & Jerry are awful politically, but they make great ice cream, so I eat there because I'm not a vindictive a-hole. And Ben & Jerry's will end sales of our ice cream in the occupied Palestinian territory. Read our full statement. He says, oh, well, guess I won't be eating any more of your ice cream. So you're wrong. You are a vindictive asshole, I guess, Ben. Like, imagine thinking that fucking Ben and Jerry's is like bad politically, dude. They're like inoffensive. They're inoffensive progressive guys. It's not even like my hog ass parents wouldn't let me and my siblings eat B&J's because they thought it would turn us into liberals. Ben from Ben and Jerry's was Bernie's 2020 campaign co-chair. No, I know. Ben and Jerry's is a big Bernie bros for sure. Let's watch. Fuck Ben. We'll get back to Ben's other thing because NPR did a piece on him about how outrageous the business model, how Ben Shapiro is using Facebook to build an empire. He got very upset about that. We're going to talk about that, but before we get to that, Capitol Rioter,
breaking news.
First ever MAGA chud who has been held responsible for his actions. This is remarkable, folks. I mean, thinking about this is crazy. Crazy. Accountability? What? That's weird, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
News in the first felony sentencing from the January 6th attack on the Capitol, Paul Allard Hodgkins of Florida just sentenced to 8 months in prison. Hodgkins was seen inside the Senate chamber with a Trump flag, a rope, and goggles. NBC News correspondent Pete Williams joins us now. Pete, this rioter did not assault anyone or destroy property. How do you judge his sentencing?
Well, the prosecution had asked for 18 months in prison. That was basically the sentencing guidelines here. His own lawyer said no prison time, maybe home detention. And Randolph Moss, the federal judge, sentenced him, as you said, to 8 months in prison plus 2 years of supervised release. The judge said, addressing Hodgkins in court, although you were only one member of a larger mob, you actively participated in a larger event that threatened the Capitol and democracy itself. The judge said the damage that was caused that way was beyond a several-hour delay of the vote count. It's a damage that will persist in this country for several decades. Now, Hodgkins himself did address the court today, Andrea. He said that he was truly remorseful and regretful because he feared the damage that the incident has caused could hurt the country. But he said, I realize my involvement still did contribute to the greater problem that took place. So he did want to take some responsibility. This is the first, as you say, felony charge. There have been 2 other guilty pleas. They were misdemeanors. So this was the prosecution said, use this to lay down a marker that would say you can't attack the Capitol, you can't
destroy democracy. 8 months. I mean, it was an attempt. You know what I mean? People are gonna get mad at me, but I think 8 months is fine. I do. I think 8 months is fine. I really do. Because, I'm not one of those people who's oh my God, this is worse than 9/11. You know what I mean? I'm not. I think those people are fucking insane, okay? The people that say January 6th was worse than 9/11 are literally just doing a branding thing for January 6th. And whenever people say, well, black men get thrown in prison for much longer sentences for significantly less. Yeah. And that's really fucked up. And that should no longer happen. You feel me? It should not. Of course you would say that. I mean, yeah, of course I would say that because I think that, yes, I am a consistent advocate for rehabilitation over incarceration. And I believe that the criminal justice system is incredibly fucking racist and also incredibly punitive. And that's wrong. So, Wait, was that person's name literally We Must Secure? Oh, okay. What about oh, dude, fuck you, dude. What about Derek Chauvin? I've talked about Derek Chauvin as well. I think his sentence was just for attempted murder. Yeah, that's a Nazi, by the way, folks. We must secure is the 14 words, is the first 3 words of the 14 words. That's just a literal Nazi. Did I say attempted murder? I meant murder. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I was still thinking about the attempted coup d'etat. My bad. Slip of the tongue.
Disrupt democracy. There are going to be consequences. But I think realistically, Andrea, while this sentence is probably on the lower range of what will be the ultimate list of sentences from all these hundreds of cases involving felonies, there are many more serious sentences to come for those people who did destroy property or who did engage, among the worst charges, engage in violence.
And in terms of his own regrets or apologies, take us inside the courthouse. What happened today?
Well, he did.
My fear is that, like, you know, people who fucking say, like, well, black people get way longer sentences, like, we have to fucking, you know, we have to hit this guy with the book, right? Liberals who say that don't realize that, like, you know, this is going to be used on black people too, right? As a matter of fact, the overwhelming majority of, like, protesters that get caught and arrested are now going to be black people. Like, oh, they, you know, they broke windows. Like, they already do that. They didn't need this to do that. For any matter of political protest that, like, gets out of control, even though this is different than, like, this is different morally from a Black Lives Matter protest because it's fucking bullshit. Like, the basis is bullshit. It's built on a lie. And it's also different because it was deliberate and the ultimate goal was to, you know, storm the Capitol. So it was pointed versus most of the Black Lives Matter protests are, of course, non-violent. And then the ones that are violent or the ones that do escalate are escalated because, like, police brutally fucking start beating the shit out of the protesters. So it's usually something that isn't, you know, predetermined. Yes, Khalif Browder did spend 3 years in Rikers Island without a trial for allegedly stealing a backpack. This is true. This is true. He also committed suicide. Like, this dude deserves to go to jail. I'm not saying that this dude doesn't deserve to go to prison. I think he should. He should face the consequences of his actions. I am fully on board with that. I'm not one of those people who's like, dude, this was just like whatever. This was just a meme, dude. Like, because I know that there are very famous lefties even who are who I otherwise love and appreciate their support or appreciate their fucking points of view that have a different opinion on this than I do. I'm a bit more on the side of, like, no, these people should be punished 100%.
Address the court. He had submitted a court document earlier, an affidavit, a statement, but he did read a statement, looking down at it most of the time.
Lol, have you seen the sheer amount of videos circulating around? BLM has caused billions in damages. Not true. A lot of it to black business owners. Also not true. You made that up. And also, you don't care about black people. Why the fuck are you bringing up black business? Because you think you're going to fucking own me in the argument? Like, just not true. None of the things that you said are true. Okay? But also, don't fucking act like you give a shit about black business owners or black people in general. Because, again, like, Black Lives Matter as a political movement is something that black business owners are fucking on board with too. With the exception of, like, I guess the 8 fucking psychotic reactionary black conservatives that probably get circulated all over the fucking conservative ecosystems. Black Lives Matter has caused gazillions of dollars in property damage.
Addressing the judge, says he was sorry for what he did, that he was swept up in the moment. But he asked also the judge not to sentence him to prison. He said, you know, if you sentence me to any time in prison, I'm going to lose my job. I'm a mechanic. I'm in an apprenticeship. It'll set me back. So he would.
Oh, fuck, dude. That's crazy. I mean, look, I wish him a very well rehabilitative process. But yeah, dude, you can't. Like, you can't be fucking storming the Capitol with rope and talking about how you want to hang motherfuckers, dude. Like, what are you doing? And then 5 people die. Yeah, you're going to get fucked, dog. That's how it works. Like, what do you mean? The sentencing could set the bar of punishments for hundreds of defendants. Video footage shows Hodgkins wearing a Trump 2020 t-shirt, the flag flung over his shoulder, and eye goggles around his neck inside the Senate. He took a selfie with a self-described shaman. His lawyer pleaded with Judge Randolph Moss to spare his 38-year-old client time in prison, saying the shame that will attach Hodgkins for the rest of his life should be factored in as punishment. Oh my God, dude. The lawyer argued in court that Hodgkins' actions weren't markedly different than those of Anna Morgan Lloyd, other than Hodgkins stepping onto the Senate floor. The 49-year-old from Indiana was the first of roughly 500 arrested to be sentenced. He pleaded guilty to misdemeanor disorderly conduct last month and was sentenced to 3 years of probation. Hodgkins was never accused of assaulting anyone or damaging property. The prosecutor says he deserves some leniency for taking responsibility and also immediately pleading guilty to the obstruction charges. Yeah, why are they fucking throwing the book at this guy, though? That is interesting. I mean, he did have rope. I think that's probably why. But they also noted how he boarded a bus in his hometown of Tampa, bound for January 6th Trump rally. Oh, God, he's from Tampa. Just lock him up. Fuck it, dude. I mean, look, if you're from Tampa and you're fucking getting on a bus to go all the way up to the Capitol, yeah, just to be safe. That right there, officers. Chill. I'm from Tampa. I'm sorry to hear that, man. We should liberate Tampa. Cuba Libre. How about fucking Florida Libre? Okay? Libre. SOS Tampa. Holy shit. On the day he walked through grounds already littered with smashed police barriers and broken windows, evening passing officers and others injured as the crowd surged towards the Capitol, prosecutor said. Time and time again, rather than turn around and retreat, Hodgkins pressed forward with a rope. You know, if you're fucking talking about hanging politicians with a rope and you storm the Capitol, people die, like, yeah, you're gonna fucking get in trouble, dude. You got. Athletics 33-page sentencing filing devotees several pages to the Civil War, highlighting Abraham Lincoln's calls for reconciliation weeks before his assassination. The court has a chance to emulate Lincoln. Okay, well, you know, that is a really interesting take because the court, if the court was emulating Abraham Lincoln, kind of depends on who you're talking about. If you're talking about like white slave owners, that's one thing. But if you're talking about Native Americans, for example, well, Abraham Lincoln is responsible for the largest mass execution of Native Americans on U.S. soil by court decree. Pretty sure. So I don't think you want that, you know? They might use literally the rope that you brought to the fucking, you know, Capitol against you. One of the largest. Many of you don't know this. I'm not talking about like straight genocide. I'm talking about Abraham Lincoln okaying the mass hanging of Native Americans. A lot of you don't know American history from the point of view of natives, and it shows. Here, let's take a look. Abraham Lincoln is not seen as much of a hero at all among many American Indian tribes, native peoples of the United States, as the majority of his policies proved to be detrimental to them. For instance, the Homestead Act and the Pacific Railway Act of 1862 helped precipitate the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad, which led to the significant loss of land and natural resources, as well as the loss of lifestyle and culture for many tribal people. But then the one I was talking about is the Dakota War in Minnesota in 1862 led to the hanging of 38 Indian men. 303 Indian men had been sentenced to hang, but the others were spared by Lincoln's pardon. The Sand Creek Massacre in southeastern Colorado in 1864 also resulted in the deaths of hundreds in the Cheyenne of Arapaho. But that's what I was talking about. It's one of the largest. It's one of the largest like mass hangings of Native Americans. Obviously, like other American presidents is way worse shit to the Native Americans. Every day I get to learn new horrible things America's done. I mean, yeah. This is the largest, right? Isn't it? Why are you standing? Largest mass execution of U.S. history 150 years ago today. Lincoln ordered the execution of 38 Dakota Indians for rebellion, but never ordered the execution of Confederate officials or generals. Yeah. So I was right. It is the largest mass execution. Actually, Hasan, he also killed vampires, so that balances out all the Native Americans. True. This is a fact that I did not cover and did not consider. The surrounding circumstances of this mass execution is because, like, even more Native Americans were slated to be executed, as we talked about already. It was like 313, I believe. And this was the liberal approach to being like, let's not murder all of the Native Americans that you want to murder. Let's only murder like a couple of them and lead to the largest mass execution in U.S. history by mass executing 38 of them, right? So that's liberalism, baby. Let's go. I mean, that's how you do it. Feel me? Were there any Native Americans in Turkey when you lived there or in Greece? No. What? Why the fuck would there be Native Americans in Turkey, dude? That's the reverse of like what my grandfather unironically believes, which is Native Americans are Turks. Havasu. Havasu. It means air and water. Havasu. They're Turks. You know, they went from Turkey to Alaska. Britney Spears calls out sister in an Instagram post. Let's take a look.
Now to our GMA cover story. Britney Spears is calling out her father, sister, and her system on social media over the weekend. Kaylee Hartog is in LA with the story. Good morning, Kaylee.
Hey, good morning, George. For anyone who's questioned how much control Britney has over her own social media, well, she's leaving no room for doubt now. Just as we've heard her in court, she's standing up for herself and getting support from Hollywood to Washington.
Do it. Get it, Queen!
This morning, Britney Spears' conservatorship battle inspiring new legislation on Capitol Hill. The Free Britney Act, set to be introduced to Congress on Tuesday by Representatives Nancy Mace and Charlie Crist, allowing a person under conservatorship like Britney to petition the court for an independent conservator who's not a family member or related in any way, aiming to protect the conservatee from bad actors who could try to profit from the legal arrangement. This is Britney's conservator of person, Jody Montgomery, returns to court today to discuss her petition to hire 24/7 security to protect her from the death threats she says she's received. She's requesting Britney's estate pay the more than $50,000 per month expense. But Britney's father, Jamie, who's in charge of her estimated $60 million fortune, has told the court he does not believe such an expense is reasonable, necessary, or a proper expense.
Hey, yo, free Britney, free Palestine.
Weekend, Britney declaring on social media the conservatorship she's been under for more than a decade killed my dreams. And revealing how she feels about her sister Jamie Lynn recreating her music in 2017, alongside other Radio Disney stars in tribute to Britney. Writing, I don't like that my sister showed up at an award show and performed my songs to remixes. My so-called support system hurt me deeply. And in another post, Britney calling out the people closest to her, writing, how dare you make it public that now you care? Did you put your hand out when I was drowning? Again, no. Hours later, Jamie Lynn posting that she is feeling...
God damn. Fucking daggers, dude. Let's go. Fucking queen, dude.
Solid, stable, and still.
So now Britney has essentially put her whole family on blast, and she says so long as she's under conservatorship, Instagram will be the only stage we see her on because she doesn't want her dad handling what she wears, says, does, or thinks. George.
Boy, she is fighting back. Okay, Kaylee, thanks very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff.
That's what I'm gonna start saying. Free Britney, free Palestine. Britney's IG post about her sister. Let's take a look. Take me as I am or kiss my ass, eat shit, and step on Legos. Damn, that last part's aggressive, dude. Going too far. For those of you who choose to criticize my dancing videos, look, I'm not going to be performing on any stages anytime soon. My dad handling what I wear, say, do, or think. I've done that in the past 13 years. I'd much rather share videos, yes, from my living room instead of on stage in Vegas, where some people were so far gone they couldn't even shake my hand, and I ended up getting a contact high from weed all the time, which I didn't mind, but it would have been nice to be able to go to the motherfucking spa. And no, I'm not going to put on heavy makeup and try on stage again and not be able to do the real deal with remixes of my songs for years and begging to put my new music on my show for my fans. So I quit. I don't like that my sister showed up at an award show, performed my songs, the remixes. My so-called support system hurt me deeply. This conservatorship killed my dreams. So all I have is hope, and hope is the only thing in this world that is very hard to kill. If people still try. From the river to Britney, Palestine will be free. That's funny. Yeah, people still try. I didn't like the way the documentaries were bringing up humiliating moments from my past. I'm way past all that. I've been for a long time. And for women who say it's weird the way I still have hope for fairy tales, go fuck yourself. As I said, hope is all I have right now. Now you're lucky I post anything at all. If you don't like what you see, unfollow me. People try to kill hope because hope is one of the most vulnerable. Go read another motherfucking fairy tale now. P.S. If you don't want to see my precious ass dancing in my living room, or it's not up to your standards, go read a fucking book. Yes, live your life, beautiful. You deserve happiness. Let's go. Here's another post she made before this one. Never forget who ignored you when you needed them and who helped you before you even had to ask. She's writing entire pages, dude. This is like theory. Listen, as someone who is victim to parasocial relationships, I'm gonna keep it 100. Yes, no one should be able to backseat your dancing, Britney.